Here's Johnny.
Welcome to my nightmare.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Come and play with us, Daddy.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Fear Freaks Podcast. My name is Braden.
I'm Destiny.
And we are the Fear Freaks. Happy Wednesday to everyone out there. Hope you guys are all having a great week so far. Hope you guys are enjoying whatever it is you guys are doing. Nothing too special going on this week. It's just a casual week, but nonetheless, hope you guys are having a good week. Tonight, Destiny and I are talking about brand new movie Pearl that just came out this past weekend from Ty West. Obviously, if you guys saw our X episode earlier this year, or really about a month ago, maybe about a month and a half ago, you guys know that we both really enjoyed that movie. And tonight we're going to be giving our thoughts on Pearl. Some housekeeping notes, though. If you guys are new here, consider clicking that subscribe button. Or if you guys are subscribed and are watching this for the very first time, then welcome. We are on the final countdown. We are less than 30 subscribers away from 10,000 subscribers. So holy shit, right? It's crazy to think that we're getting that close. So if you guys are new here and you guys are tuning into us for the first time, again, welcome. But if you guys are new here and you guys are watching this in the future, consider clicking that subscribe button and join the community. We do have a really great community here that watches us every single week. Destiny and I honestly talk about that constantly, and we really do appreciate all you guys. So hello to everyone that's in the chat. Just know that we love and appreciate all of you guys that are here and tune in to us live, and we also appreciate those that tune in on Spotify and iTunes. I know. Thank you, Destiny. I saw she was starting to lean in, does he got it? Does he got it? Does he got it? And also want to give a big shout out to the Patreons of the channel. Thank you guys so much for supporting and being here. Love you guys. Love you guys. You guys know who you are. Thanks for being around. Let me get our background here updated too. And while I do this, hello again to everyone that's in the chat. What's going on, everyone? I hope that you guys are all doing well. I'm just going to go through Grubby, Lamontre, Ashton, Goodreal, Gory, Menelect. What's going on, everyone? I hope that you guys are all well. But Destiny, what is in your world of horror this week? What's going on with you? What's been happening with you this week?
I saw Pearl, obviously. Actually, Brett sent me some cool stuff today. I can grab a couple things to show because besides Pearl, I didn't watch any horror movies. I watched Do Revenge, and I watched Honor Society. I watched Free Guy. I saw you gave that a 4 stars on Letterboxd. I watched Free Guy, not horror, but it's pretty good. So, but I have a couple things that Brett sent me earlier.
Didn't you give while you're grabbing that, didn't you give Free Guy 4 stars too?
I did.
Yeah, no, good movie, honestly. Good non-horror if you're just looking to kick back, relax, watch something, enjoy. Ryan Reynolds, always a likable presence. So, Free Guy is definitely a great movie. If you guys haven't seen that, check it out.
Okay, I just grabbed a few things. There's more. I'll say that for next week because I don't want to, be here all day. But look at this.
Is that from Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yes, look.
Oh, that is cool.
So that's really fucking cool. I've been wanting that since last year. They are always sold out at Spirit Halloween every time I went. Also this really cool Funko Pop. I don't have anything like that, so it's a lot of fun. Misery, Stephen King's birthday today. Happy birthday, Stephen. I don't know. I'm not on
freaking yes. You haven't read that yet?
No, I've only read Pet Sematary out of all his books. I think I'm gonna save it for December though.
Oh my god, that book is phenomenal. I read that last year and it's absolutely amazing. You think the movie's great, but then the movie is great. The movie's phenomenal, but the book is fucking
I'm so excited. It smells like a book. I'm really
Yep.
excited. I love the cover. I love the blue and the red.
Mhm.
I'm really excited to read it. I'm gonna wait till it's colder outside to really like get in the mood to go along with that. This awesome fucking bookmark.
Oh, that is cool.
Again, happy birthday. And then got a little Pennywise there, and it says Stephen King on the back. Another bookmark. It says keep reading, babe.
Keep reading. Oh, that's awesome.
I got this, and I got a little look at this sticker. Look at that.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So cute. So yeah, there's some stuff that I got today
Look
from Brett.
at
So
that.
thank you, Brett. Very
And
happy.
Mia, what's going on? Mia's in here real quick. She said she hasn't seen Pearl yet. She's just dropping by to say hi and that she loves you, Des. So I'll go ahead and pull up
Yes,
her.
I've seen
pull up her
Pearl,
favorite.
but I have not seen Barbarian. She's seen Barbarian, but has not seen Pearl.
Yeah, I feel like I'm one of my only friends that like loves movies at this point that I have not seen Barbarian
I know.
yet. My sister just went to go see it, and I'm fucking shocked. Riley never goes to the movies. She's been starting to talk to this guy, and they go to movies all the time. I'm sitting here. I'm like, this is insane. I'm like, Riley is more caught up. I never in my life thought that my youngest sister would be caught up on more movies at the movie theater than I am.
Right?
It's crazy.
Everyone else around me is going. I'm like, y'all are making me look bad. Also, I love you too, Mia. She said that. I had to say it back. But yeah, I feel that. I feel Thorns. Can you stop? I feel very behind on everything, and I'm like, whoa. And the year's
you haven't even
over.
seen Nope yet, have you? Right?
No, but
Oh my gosh,
I am going to
goodness.
before this year's over. I'm going to see Nope. What else? Barbarian. Prey. I'm going to watch that too. All before the year's over with. I'm going to try to catch up on some movies from this year that I have not seen.
Heck yeah, we can actually add some of those to our episodes to do like throughout the year, because like we were supposed to talk about Nope back when it came out in theaters, but obviously you got a little busy, and it's okay. That was also the weekend of Houston Horror Film Fest though. Like
it was.
So like I know that you had a really busy weekend that weekend. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we can still add to the list to discuss that I'm sure our audience would really, like, because like I normally give my general thoughts, like, and this is for any movie I watch. I not only post it on Letterboxd, but I post it in my community section, like just so people like can stay updated. So I did give my first thoughts on Pearl. There's nothing really going on in my world of horror this week. I did see Pearl. And that's honestly really about it. I'm yet to watch. I still actually am tonight. I've got some work to do once we get off of here for a project I'm working on. And then I have to watch Rob Zombie's Halloween so I can get that review out. I'm probably going to watch the theatrical cut because I like the theatrical cut a bit more than I do the unrated. I think the unrated just has some very intense stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be in the unrated versions. So I'm probably going to watch the theatrical, and that's probably going to be for both. I do plan on watching Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, both cuts for next week's review, though. So, I'm definitely excited to watch both cuts of that to kind of compare and everything. But, yeah, so nothing too crazy going on with this. And then spoiler warning for anybody that is in the chat. We are talking full-on spoilers. So, Brettman, I saw your comment come up here. Thank you so much. I occasionally forget to remind people of that, and then they go through and they're like, spoilers! So movie's been out.
To be fair, if this is afterwards and you see an hour-long episode about a new movie...
Yeah.
No, if it's that long...
Yeah, like I mean, you got to think that like, what can we say that's spoiler free for an hour? And I really respect people that can do that. I respect people that can give like a full on review of something and just go on for an hour, but not spoil it. Like, I can't do it. So we are going in depth on this thing. We're going to talk about what we like, what we didn't like. Everything. We're full on spoilers. Now, I will say I saw this with my youngest sister, who actually did want to see this. I saw it with her on Monday night, and she hasn't seen X. And I asked her that before we went to. I asked her that before. I was like, "Have you seen X?" And I kind of gave her some backstory. I was like, "Okay, well, this is the prequel to one of the characters that's in X." And so she wants to watch it, and then I made her stay because I heard there was an end credit scene too, so I made her stay all the way through the credits, and it was just the same thing that was posted on YouTube. Like, I was just like, wait a minute, hold on. So first things first, I guess I want to approach this like this. Let's talk about the fucking end credits, because I was so mad. Like, I was like, wait a minute. Like, Riley even looked at me as like the credits are like rolling. She's like, are you sure that there's an end credit scene? I was like, I've been told that there is. Mm-hmm. So there is, and it's just a teaser to Maxine, which is now a follow-up to X that is pretty much green, like it is greenlit. Like, they made the announcement, it's greenlit, it's coming soon. Ty West is going to be writing and directing it again. Mia Goth is also going to be starring as Maxine. So yeah, there was that. What did you think of the end credits?
Like you said, I was told, make sure you stay with the end credits, and I was like, okay, gotta stay this time, because I didn't stay for X, and I was pissed. And so I was like, gotta stay. And it's just the same thing A24 had posted on their Instagram that morning. And I was like, or like the morning before that, I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But yeah, I waited the whole time just to see the thing I've already seen. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, I was like sitting there, and I was just thinking, like, you know, this doesn't seem like a movie, or doesn't strike me as a movie that would just have an end credit scene. You know what I mean? So I think that like I mean, it was me, Riley, and there was a dude that sat all the way at the end of our row or whatever, and that was it. There was 3 people total in the whole theater. He got up as soon as the credits started rolling and just walked out. So I don't know if he liked the movie or not. I couldn't really tell like what his reaction was. But yeah, like he just dipped out. Yep, there's my
I thought you were gonna figure this out.
I honestly completely forgot about it. So I'm not. Hey, you know, that was only one message, and as long as my family doesn't text each other, we're gonna have a scot-free episode. So you know, we're gonna be good.
If I hear it again, I'm gonna freak out.
Okay, that's fine. You and rightfully so, right? Like, this has been what, 3 weeks now that this has happened. So this is week 3. If it happens next week, just exit, and we're just gonna cancel the episode.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that you went with your sister who hadn't seen X, because I went with my friend. It was that Thursday we went and saw it, and I was saying like, oh, I'm gonna see a movie tonight, like I'm really excited. I was like, Pearl, it's the prequel to X. And she was like, who are you going with? And it was supposed to be me and Bailey. And I was like, why do you want to go? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, well, you and I can just go if you want to. Like, that's fine. Because, like, Bailey doesn't. He saw X with me, but, like, if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have gone and seen it. So he doesn't really care. And so she hadn't seen X. So I told her, I was like, well, it's a prequel, so you really don't have to watch X to watch this. And she was like, okay. So we went in. Me had already seen X. Her, who hasn't seen X. And so it was really interesting because we talked about the movie a little bit afterwards. And she really enjoyed it. And she's seen X since then. She watched it over the weekend. And I was like, you see how like a lot of stuff really makes sense and like ties together when you see both movies? She's like, oh yeah. But she really liked Pearl for watching it as like a standalone movie.
Sorry, the chat was saying that they heard an echo. Are you hearing an echo on your end? I'm not hearing anything. I can't hear you.
I heard it a little bit earlier. I don't hear it now.
Okay. I just sent I just sent a chat, but you know, okay, I'm gonna continue. Okay, Good Real said it's gone. Okay, cool. Awesome. I love how I always call Good Real
instead of Brett.
I never just say Brett. So Brett, I'm sorry. It's just like I always call you Good Real, but it's kind of the same thing, you know. It's your YouTube channel. So
I guess please. If it does it again, I'll tell you if I hear it, and then mute yourself again and unmute it, because that's what I think fixed it. Okay, it might have been the ding, honestly, that caused the echo too. Because like normally, if there's a noise and then it like catches, I don't know how that fucking works. I'm just thinking. Carlitos, what's going on? And Denise, welcome in. Denise says that she just got out of Pearl and she's now here. So perfect, right on time. You made it. We are about to start getting into all the spoilers and all the details. Now, I will say right now that in terms of
Yeah, Riley, she gave it a 5 out of 10. She didn't really know what to make of it. She didn't think, I mean, it's not a fast-paced movie at all, and I did say that in my first initial thoughts that this is a slow burn of a movie. It really takes its time and really establishing the home life of Pearl, our now protagonist of this movie. Like, and I kind of love like when movies do that. I kind of love like, you know, even the Joker movie that we got from 2019, like how it was like the Joker is normally a villain in a Batman movie, but it's like now it's a standalone movie on the Joker and you're like rooting for Arthur, right? It's kind of the same thing here. It's like you see the life that Pearl lives on this farm, and she's like, she seems like she's just like this happy-go-lucky person, but internally she's really struggling. Like, you know, she has a passion for something. She really wants to be famous, and she wants like her name to be known. She says that she's gonna have her name known for throughout the entire world. And her mom, who is just this like super bitch German lady, like, I mean, like, she just basically runs the whole thing and like tells her that she's never gonna make it. She has a dad that that is literally sick. He's ill. He's in a wheelchair. I don't really know what happened to him. I just know that he is in a wheelchair for the duration.
Yeah, it said like he had gotten sick, and he's pretty much like he can't do anything for himself. So he has to be fed, bathed, dressed, all that. He can't do anything for himself, which leads Pearl to really be the one that's taking care of him. You know, because her mom makes her do everything.
Yeah.
And like also, I guess kind of like I grew up as the oldest kid and the oldest daughter too. There's always like the stigma around oldest daughters. We become kind of like a second mom. And for me, that was kind of true. You know, my mom was a single mom, and it was her and me and two of my brothers at the house. And so with my brother Garrett, I grew up having to watch him a lot. So there's a lot that I kind of had to give up as like a kid myself because I had to do that. And like I didn't mind because I know like my mom needed help babysitting, but I can kind of understand Pearl's frustrations a little bit to be like, you want to do your own thing, but you really can't because you have to take care of others. And so that just kind of, I just thought about that. I feel like with X, I related to a lot with like Maxine, and I feel the same with Pearl because Maxine is just a different version of Pearl, basically.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can relate to both of their characters a lot, and especially their frustration with like being dealt shitty cards and have to do what you can with them. So I think I haven't seen Joker, but I've seen a lot of people compare this to Joker, and I know about Joker, and I know it's more of like it's kind of like a character study rather than anything else, and that's what this is. We get to see Pearl. From what you said, she seems like such a happy person on the outside, but slowly she just loses it.
Yeah.
Everything that could go wrong keeps going wrong, and she just breaks. So
and I mean that's what will happen to a person, honestly. I did say that in my first impression written review that this is a character study on somebody that lives not only on a farm that is isolated from a lot of society, but also what can happen not only to someone that is isolated, but also rejected by not only her family, but pretty much everybody that she, you know, comes in contact with, that she's trying to like, if she's trying to accomplish something, like, you know, we see later in the movie, we see her at that dance recital, even though it's just for like the church group, like, you know, and she just thinks that this is huge, right? Like she thinks that this is a big deal, like that this is her chance to fucking make it, and she gets rejected, and we see how she fucking acts like with that. And it's like somebody that has gone through rejection might be like, okay, yeah, whatever, I just didn't get it. But her, this is like an end all be all, and it's because her mom constantly was on her throughout the movie saying that she's gonna fail, and when you fail, like, I'm pretty sure she says like it will break you or something like that, and it pretty much like does, like, you know.
Yeah, and like you said, like, because like I come from a small town too, and so I understand like where I live, Can you hear an echo?
What? No, I saw Zach texted me, so I'm waiting for the ding.
Okay.
So
Sorry. Anyways, but when there's like not a lot of stuff going on around you, and this is like the first thing that kind of comes her way, that she's like, I can actually like make it with this. And like you said, it's just for a church group, and like, yeah, they are traveling around, and so she gets to leave the farm. And when she doesn't get it, in her mind, like, that was it. Like, she, at the end, she's like, I just have to pretty much, make the best out what I was given. She doesn't realize there's probably going to be more opportunities. Like, your first fail cannot be your only fail, because she's talking about, like, I just have to try it out, like, at least once, so at least I know if I fail, at least I tried. But she only did it one time because she thought, this is it. This is the only thing I'll ever get. And she doesn't get it, which, I mean, I feel like we knew that. Which, what I like about Pearl is, like, you know how the movie's going to play out. I'm not saying it's predictable, but you know. Because we've seen X. We see how Pearl is when she's older, and we have heard the things she says to Max, or Maxine. So we've heard all of this, so you know her end game for this movie. But it's really interesting watching it unfold. And this movie also reminds me a lot of May. Someone who is, kind of isolated from the world and like kind of shut out. And she's definitely different because she doesn't have like all this like social experience under her belt. So she's awkward around people, and she's shy, and she doesn't know the right things to say, even when she thinks she means well. And I feel like that's really similar.
Sorry. That was poorly timed. I'm sorry.
Pearl.
There we go. So I muted it earlier. I don't know why it took a minute for it to come through. Normally it comes through right away. So, I will have that figured out for next week, I promise. I will actually do it tonight because I'm going to be in front of my computer all night. So I will get that figured out. You're like, I'll believe it when I see it, or when I hear it. When I don't hear it next week. So I apologize to anybody in the chat that can hear my ding. Zach, if you're watching this, respectfully, go fuck yourself. So, who the hell is saying, what do you call it? Sorry. What do you call it? Yeah. That one was Abby, so. But yeah. Okay. So what do you call it? I've also seen a lot of people saying this. If Pearl was in Wizard of Oz, there would be no Land of Oz by the time she leaves. Flick is sick. I agree. I do agree to that. Because I've also seen a lot of people saying that this is like Wizard of Oz like meets X.
I could see that because, like Pearl in the beginning, she's wearing like blue overalls with like this mint kind of shirt color. Mm-hmm. And I feel like even though it's nothing really like Dorothy's outfit, it kind of gives that vibe. And then Pearl has like these braids that are like put up. And then Dorothy has like pigtails kind of like to the side. And then, of course, they're on the farm. There's a scarecrow. There's that one shot of her walking up to the scarecrow, which is really similar to the scene with Dorothy and the scarecrow, and that the way it's shot when she walks up. So I definitely see that. And also, I guess just like the type of movie it is, I think they called it like a Technicolor film. I don't know what that really means, but like I believe it because when I was watching, I was like, oh, this must be what that is. But I definitely see that. And also, small town sort of vibe going on. So I definitely see the Wizard of Oz, which I thought was really cool because the Wizard of Oz in itself is kind of scary.
What happened? I literally don't know what the hell is going on tonight. Like, there's just like a lot of shit like that's happening. So, yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree. Like, I just think that like the Wizard of Oz, like I don't know. I must have been like one of the only ones that didn't really see it like when I was like watching it, because I do see a lot of Oh my fucking gosh. I swear to God. Like, this is absolutely insane. I'm sorry, people. I am very sorry for the dings. I was trying to figure it out while you were talking. So here, can you just talk to them really quick while I do this really quick? Because I'm
Yeah.
getting sick and tired of it. Thank you. Sorry, everyone. I will be right back.
Anyways, back to the fucking movie. Hello, Tony. Technicolor. See, it was a process big in the 50s when color films were all the craze. Pearl definitely shot like that. Okay, that makes sense. There's a lot of interesting choices, I think, in Pearl, like the editing, kind of like similar to X. You know, there's those like transition scenes to where it kind of moves like a PowerPoint to where it's like literally moving over like this. And there's some similar stuff like that in Pearl, which I thought was really cool, especially towards the end. There's like, I don't know what you would call it. It's like stuff is happening all in the same scene, but there's like a close up kind of off to the side, but like, you know, more enhanced, I guess. Whatever that's called. So, do you like the weather? I fucking don't because it's hot as fuck. Ding, 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 ding. Fucking always. I'm sorry. I feel like that's mean. I also don't care. Never mind. But yes. Film's great. Shot great. The scene whenever Pearl is on the bike kind of going on the dirt road and you see the corn all behind her and the blue sky and it just looks so pretty. I don't know what to fucking talk about. Kind of let me do this. I love the theater guy character. I did too, because, you know, he seemed like he meant well. He was kind of like boosting her confidence and she was like really happy about that and she was really like flattered. And he dies, which, you know, obviously is coming, because he's starting to pick up on like she's not being her true self because her true self is kind of crazy. And there's the whole part when they're back at the house and she's saying that her dog is in the basement, even though it's her mom that had just caught on fire like the night before. And then when he asked about her dog, she's like, "Oh, I don't have a dog." And in the theater, I was like, "Bitch, you just lied. You just lied like minutes ago. How do you not remember what you said?" Stuck in the thirst trap. I mean, do I blame him? No. It's corn. And the theater guy was pretty hot too. But she can pick up on the energy that, you know, he's not feeling her anymore because she's lying and she's kind of acting really fucking weird. And she starts freaking out on him. And he tries to go and you know he's gonna die. He's a very nice actor in the movie. He was. I really liked him too. I knew he was gonna die because, you know, that's what happens in these movies, but still. Same thing. Okay, the very end. I'm sure we'll talk about this again when Braden comes back. But Mia Goth gave such a fucking amazing performance, of course. But when she's doing that monologue, which I read went on for like 9 minutes, oh my god. And I don't think it took them that many takes to do. I think it was like a few, which is phenomenal. And I just remember thinking, like, oh my god, we're still going. Like, she's still going and she's killing it because, what's his name? Damn. The husband. Anyways, the sister of the husband, because, you know, he's off at war. What is his name? Anyways, obviously, she gets the part. Oh.
Yo.
Hello.
I'm like 99.8% positive that I did it correctly this time. I turned off the notifications on here and I hit save. We should be good. And Howard is who it is that you are referring to.
Yes, Howard. So Howard's sister, I think it was Missy, actually. She gets the part which, you know, in X, there's that part when she pushes Brittany Snow's character into the water. It was like, you know, I always hated blondes. And whenever she doesn't get the part, and they're like, we are looking for someone that was like more blonde. I was like, here we fucking go. Who has blonde hair? Missy. And so she gives that amazing monologue. 9 minutes of her just talking.
It's
Because
not.
Missy is like, pretend I'm Howard, like, what would you say? And she fucking spills everything. The murder she's done, the affair she's had, how she's felt, how she thinks there's something wrong with her. And then Missy's like, all right, well, I gotta go now because, you know, she just said she murdered people. And then you know, Missy's gonna die. And I love that shot of her walking out, and then a few seconds later, Pearl comes out, and you can see the axe sitting there, and you're like, fuck. And then you see her go and grab it, and she starts chasing after her. Of course, Missy trips, because, of course. And then she fucking beheads her. Amazing. I loved it.
Literally though, like I mean, it is the whole thing of like with the beheading of Howard's sister is just fucking. I love that entire sequence, like when she's just fucking cutting up her body. That whole monologue, I literally said that I truly do think that Mia Goth is pretty much Oscar worthy for that. Like if there was like a horror category or even like a dramatic read, like just for a drama, because holy fuck, it's like it was just on her the whole time. Like it cut to what was Howard's sister's name? I'm sorry. Missy. Yeah. So it cut to Missy a couple times. And then like, as soon as like it stopped cutting, like I was looking at this movie from a technical standpoint too. And I'm like, okay, like what, like they're not cutting. So obviously this is all meant to be heard. So I'm sitting there and my ears are literally just listening to this entire monologue now and everything. Like I'm like, holy shit. Like, and it went on for like 4 minutes. Like it's like a 4-minute monologue. It's a long.
It's very.
But and it doesn't cut at all either. This is all just like one take of her having to like, you know, say all this and explain all of this. And really this is how she feels. Like this is everything that she's been shoving down deep. This is her coming out and saying, this is exactly how I feel about everything. Like as soon as Missy said, talk to me like I'm Howard, I was just like, oh no. And then she's like, really? And like, I was like, oh fuck, here it goes. And she was brutally honest. Missy, I mean, what do you sit there and say to something like that? That's like just been said to you pretty much like that. Like, I mean, she not only admitted cheating on her brother, she admitted to doing some really awful things. And like, I mean, what do you say to that? You know what I mean? Like,
she tries to play it cool. She tries to get out of there. And then, you know, Pearl was like, you can tell me if you got the part, because she already knew she did. They literally described her basically. Mm-hmm. So she already knew she got the part. And then she's like, it's that typical thing, you know, if someone's ever like, you can tell me, I won't get mad. They're going to get mad. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it was. Like, you can tell me, like, I'll be happy for you, you know, like, we're sisters. We got to stay together. And then, you know, she says that she did. And then Pearl was like, you just get everything you want, don't you? Mm-hmm. And she's fucking pissed. And Missy's like, all right, I'm going to go for real this time. Because she said it like 3 times already. She's like, all right, well, I have to go. And then she dies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which that whole sequence of her cutting up the body and like how she's like cleaning everything up. And then you see she's like placing like the pig that's been sitting on her porch covered in maggots and like bugs, and it's so gross. And she has her dead mom sitting there and her dead dad, and she kind of set the table as if it's that same what they were used to, is just having dinner as a family every night. And she replaces it, but everything's fucked now. Like everything's gone wrong. And then of course Howard comes home.
Of course he does.
And then we get one of the best rolling credits of her just smiling. And my friend and I, we were sitting there watching it, and we tried to do it with her. Once we realized it was still going, we're like, okay, let's try. And there's like parts where she's like smiling and she like drops it a little bit, and then it's like right back to it again, and she just keeps going, and the tears are just pouring. And it's so unsettling. It's so good. It made me like uncomfortably laugh. Yeah. Because it's a lot of like, she's like looking not directly at the camera, she's looking a little bit up, but it's like a lot of just looking at her face, smiling so hard, like to where she's straining and tears are pouring. It's really, pretty uncomfortable. It's probably the most uncomfortable I felt throughout the whole movie.
Like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, her cheekbones had to have hurt for fucking hours
yeah.
after that big of a smile. Like, what the fuck? Like, that, it was just genuinely, like, I was like, as the credits kept rolling, I'm like, it didn't stop, it didn't fade out, it just pretty much, like, I mean, and it almost was like, I feel like a tactic to get her to cry, because it was like, she's like sitting there and she's fine.
If you do it long enough, you'll cry. Because
Exactly.
I was starting to cry.
Like, I mean, like, you're sitting there, you've got this like big smile on your face. Like, I mean, like, sure, part of it could have been that she was just happy to see Howard. Part of it was that she was just thinking about, like, what I'm thinking in that, like, as the credits roll is, okay, this is like her just kind of like bringing out everything that she feels, but hiding it behind the smile until the smile can't hold it anymore. And now she's actually crying. Like, I just like look at it kind of like that. And yeah, I just think that it's very well done. Like, and
also, to give more credit to Mia Goth, not just for her performance, because her performance fucking great, but also, like, I was so surprised whenever I was like watching it and you keep seeing her name pop up. Like, she helped Ty West write the movie. Like, a lot of what I'm sure she said came from her. And then she was like an executive producer on the movie too. Like, her name is really all over this film, not just because she's a star, but in the making of this movie. And it makes sense because, you know, Ty West, he had the idea, brought it to her, she agreed, and they stayed back while filming X, like right after that. So, you know, of course she probably helped a lot because she was there. And it was kind of like their idea coming together. And so without Mia Goth specifically, this movie wouldn't have been this movie. Whether it's someone else just doing the performance or not, it wouldn't have been the same because she's so hands-on with this movie. So Mia Goth, amazing.
And yeah, this is her first screenwriting credit and first producer credit. So I mean, like, I think that it's awesome that it's not only written by Ty West, but it's also written by Pearl herself. And yeah, I agree with you. I do think that, like, a lot of maybe more of the Pearl dialogue heavy scenes, I feel like that she maybe had a sway in and maybe had, like, you know, a lot that she felt that the character needed to say. And it also makes you respect X a lot more, and how, oh my fucking God. Buddy, I should not be getting notifications anymore. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm sorry, everyone. So, you know, like, I literally tell everybody what the fuck I'm doing right now, and they keep calling. So I'm sorry. What do you call it? What was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh, God damn it. It makes you appreciate Pearl a lot more because in X, because you see like what she sees in like Maxine and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm good. Whew. Like, I don't know like what's going on with this Mac. Like, I shut off everything. So like I'm getting frustrated. Yeah, like, and then the alligator, it was nice to see the alligator and stuff like that again in this movie, knowing that she's had a great relationship with this thing for basically the duration of her life. I don't even know what the alligator was called.
I forget. Maybe the alligator's name was Mitzi or something. I think it was.
Was it Mitzi?
I think so. So maybe the sister's name wasn't Missy, because that sounds kind of similar. But I also feel like it was, so I don't know. But I think it was Mitzi, because I remember her calling out to it.
Yeah. I think it was, actually. I think that you're right on that. So she calls for Mitzi a lot. She brought her dad, was going to feed her fucking dad to the alligator before mom caught her. Like, that was absolutely insane.
Which I'm glad he didn't die, because that was in the trailer. And I was like, okay, so he's going to get pushed off into it, obviously. But then I was like watching it. I was like, oh, her dad's probably not going to die right now. And he doesn't. So I'm glad that they didn't, because they did show that in the trailer.
Yeah.
So I was happy.
I was glad about that too. Yeah, I was really glad about that too, because I genuinely thought that that's how he was gonna die. So that I was like, okay, that was kind of a throw off, you know?
No, instead he gets smothered.
Yeah.
Off screen though, off screen. We just see the bird kind of reacting to it. Off screen. And then her mom, that dinner scene, which the dinner scene reminded me of the Hereditary dinner scene, because there's a part kind of similar into it. You know, in Hereditary, she's like, "I am your mother," and I feel like there's something similar with that with this mom. You know, she's like, "I am doing what I can for us to survive. Like, I am doing everything that I can," and she's just kind of like freaking out on Pearl and saying like, "I see what you do. And you think I'm dumb, but I see, and like I know the real you," and basically saying like, you are evil, and one day it's gonna come out. And then Pearl's like, "I'm going to a dance audition," and that's when she's saying like, "I at least have to try." And then her and her mom are kind of going back and forth, and then the mom catches on fire, which reminded me of Hereditary as well, because the dad catches on fire. And I like that part right before the mom catches on fire. She's screaming, "The whole world's going to know my name," which is the same thing that Max says in X. So I like seeing that. And she's like really like in her face. And like you can't even see her. She is fucking like right here in her face. And then the mom catches on fire. And she tries to put her out, but it's kind of already too late. But then she just dumps her in the basement and like pushes her down. And I was like, fuck. Like she acts like she's like sad, but then she keeps knocking her mom back down into the basement, and like she's hitting her head.
Yeah, like that entire thing of like, you know, Pearl's like descent into like her actually really enjoying it, because then even that guy, like the projectionist that she like ends up really liking, and you know she attaches herself to, yeah, like I just think that that all leads into like when he starts like rejecting her because of just how she's acting. Her actions are all off. Like, I mean, it's like, I mean, even like when she introduced him to like her dad, she's like, "You want to go up to my bedroom now?" Like, it's like, shit, okay, like goddamn.
And like everything's a wreck because, you know, all that shit happened the night before, so like she didn't clean up, so like the kitchen's a mess. The way she just introduces her dad is weird. He hears weird noises from the basement, and she keeps like kind of trying to stop him from going down there. Lies about the dog, gets caught in the lie about the dog, and understandably he's like, "I have to go," because, you know, as one probably would in that situation. And then she freaks out. Also, my favorite part of the movie, the part that fucking made me laugh so hard, is the scarecrow scene. You know, she's lonely, not getting a lot of action. She sees the scarecrow, gets it down, starts dancing. Because, you know, I felt kind of bad for her because she has no one to dance with, like no one to practice with. So she's dancing with the scarecrow. And then she gets on top of it and starts riding it. But my favorite part is when she like snaps to and she fucking screams, "I am married!" into the scarecrow's face.
And then proceeds to do something else.
Yeah, so that scene was fucking hilarious. I absolutely loved the "I am married." And just seeing her get so angry for something that she was doing. Because I'm sure she feels like tempted to do stuff. I mean, we see her sleep with a projectionist. Well, we don't really see it. And, you know, there's not a lot of sex in this movie. I mean, there's a scene of her riding the scarecrow. There's the adult film that they watch in the theater. And then the projectionist and her, they have sex, but we don't see that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of shocked to see like there really wasn't that much sex in this movie, just because there is so much sex in X.
Yeah. Well, X, it's like not only are they making an adult film, but Pearl strikes you as a character in that movie as someone who really used to get it on because of just like how horny she is throughout the course of X. So like, I guess going into this movie, I anticipated her to maybe be a little bit more on like, you know, the sexual side than we got, because I was like, oh, this doesn't seem like the same Pearl as it is in X. You know what I mean? Because I mean, even like the Pearl and X like seemed like she wanted to sleep with everybody, the teenagers, her husband, like all that shit. But no, it's like in this movie, it was like, and that's also like a big character leap, is because like, you know, like in this movie, she at first is more quiet and reserved, and then she, as the movie plays out, she becomes a lot more vocal as like to like what she's saying. So, you know, and recognizes that she can speak what's on her mind. So,
Yeah. And I feel like in X, Pearl is kind of substituting like killing for sex. Like we see her get off whenever she kills RJ at first. But in this, she's not killing for that reason. She's not really killing for like a sexual desire or anything, or like necessarily a replacement for sex. She's killing because she feels like that's what she needs to do to become free.
mm-hmm.
And there's a part when she's talking to projection and she's like, I wish they would just die. And he's like, what? And she's, nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, girl, you can't be saying stuff like that. That looks weird.
Yeah.
But she just wants to feel free. And so in this, she's not really killing for like sexual release. It's more of what she thinks she has to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, and that's why I mean, like this movie, while it had the same vibe, like I mean, like the same vibe that X did, like it felt very much like it's taking place, okay, in this universe, because it takes place on the same farm, it takes place, you know, in the same area, and I'm seeing Tony from Flopbuster and Brettman, they're saying in the chat here that this movie was only made for $1 million. Like, I mean, like that is cheap for a Hollywood production. So like the fact that they were able to create this and as well as they did with $1 million, like I mean, it just shows that you can make you give a filmmaker $1 million and they'll make do with it. Most of the movie does take place, with the exception of a couple of scenes in a town or at a theater. Most of it takes place on the farm and in the cornfield and everything. So you know you utilize that location. I also thought that the movie was very wise to touch base on something that we know all too well today with the masks and the pandemic that was going on in 1918. I love that. Like, you know, because it's like almost like anytime, like when Missy and her mom came over to the house to drop off that pig, and Pearl's mom said, "We do not accept charities." You know, I was just like, like she's scary. Like I wouldn't want her as my mom. Like,
Absolutely not. There's like no love coming from that mom.
No,
she's
not
cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see Pearl wearing masks, and you see people wearing masks, and there's a part where she's at the theater and someone's coughing, and she kind of like looks over her shoulder a little bit, because I do that still. If we were in the theaters and someone was coughing, they were like up in front, and I kept like looking over at them. Anytime someone's coughing a little bit too much, I'm like, whoa, back up. But we see them wearing their mask and talk about like you can't bring anything from the outside in here because that could get everyone sick. And so like, yeah, when I was watching, I was like, damn, yeah. And I was kind of like, yeah, there it is.
Yep, you're like, yep, there it is.
And here we are. And here we are. Also, I loved the inclusion because whenever X came out, there's the cover of Wee Wee Marie, which is what plays after Pearl kills RJ, and Don't Fear the Reaper fades out, and then it's Wee Wee Marie, and she's kind of like dancing. That song's also in this movie, which makes sense because it was made in 1918, and that's when this is set in. And so I liked, you know, I'm sure they kind of knew what they were doing with that, like an intentional sort of thing. So it was cool to hear it played in this movie just because, you know, went into X not knowing that Pearl was already a thing unless you fucking saw the little clip at the end, which I did not. But I thought it was really cool to have that inclusion of that song in this as well. Because whenever this movie, I was like, oh, there's probably not going to be any music, or at least anything I recognize because it's 1918. And then that song started playing. I was like, that's a good, you know, callback to X with that song.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, and again, like I just think that I'm excited to see where they're going to continue to grow this, X movie franchise. It's crazy to think that we already have like almost 3 movies, and the first one came out this year. Like, wait, X came out, and that's honestly why I'm so shocked. I mean, I'm not shocked because Ty West is a really great filmmaker. I'm just shocked that this movie is as good as it is when the main movie came out in April, and literally it's September, and we got the prequel. Like, it was already shot, it was already done, it was pretty much already in post-production and gearing up to come out. And I'm like, that's absolutely insane, like to think that this movie is as good as it is. And I mean, I'm glad that it is, right? Because like now we have 2 movies that we can really enjoy. Like, I mean, there's Pearl and then there's X. Now, I would always introduce people to Pearl first for that shock value of like, what's really going on. But yeah, Pearl is still a very well made movie. I think that Ty West's direction is amazing as in all of his films. It is, and I can't wait to see now what they're going to do with Maxine, which is taking place in Los Angeles. So I'm curious to see in 1985, and I'm so excited to see the music choices that they're going to use in Maxine. Like, as soon as I saw that, I mean, even the title reveal, I was like, okay, I'm liking the choice so far,
And
like
the pink, like the coming soon, and there's like a bright pink with it. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I am so excited. It makes me curious to see like what's gonna happen. I don't want Maxine to be a murderer, but like I don't know what else could happen really for this to sort of be like a horror movie. I don't know.
I mean, it's really 1985 in LA. It makes me feel like that she's going to be a woman that wants to make it, and then she has to do some like very daunting tasks and everything. Like, that's just like the vibe I get. Like, these movies have a very old school, grainy kind of like, feel to them. And I feel like that I was thinking about this the other day too. I'm like, okay, Maxine, I'm like, she's in Los Angeles. She's trying to make it. Now, is it going to be in the adult film industry? And maybe she gets into doing stuff that she's maybe not comfortable with, but I mean, and maybe she has to fight her way out. I really can't tell you where it's going to go because like, Pearl, sure. Pearl's the prequel. And we know that she becomes like, this. Yeah. Maxine, I'm gonna have to wait for a trailer because I have no idea.
I was asked that the other day, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know what direction it's gonna go in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really excited for Maxine. And this kind of reminds me of like the 3 Fear Street movies that we got. Like, even though those came out like weekly over the course of 3 weeks, it was still sort of like it was such a surprise that like all of a sudden we're getting this and we're getting 3 movies and they all worked so well together, and I thought they were great. And that just kind of happened out of nowhere. And it took 3 months for them to do all 3, which is so fucking crazy. And it reminds me a lot of this, how like when you have a good idea and maybe some restraints, you can actually push out some really good stuff, because those movies were fucking great. Mm-hmm. Those were a lot of fun. And that's how I think both of these movies are. Is Pearl as fun as X? I don't think so, but that's just not the kind of movie it is, It's not just a straight up sort of slasher. This is more like refined and it's more isolated. The cast really is small. You don't have that many main characters, and it's more of a character breakdown rather than just a 70s slasher. So I don't think it's as fun, but it does have some really crazy moments in it still.
Yeah.
That make me laugh, because Pearl is just Pearl.
Yeah.
But they're both still a lot of fun. And it is crazy that like we have 2/3 of a trilogy within months of each other.
That's right? Awesome. I wish like more movies would like pay attention to what movies like this does. You know what I mean? Like I wish that they took the time to, because like if this was the case and like they wanted to pop out movies like this, like back to back pretty much, like then hey, I'd be all for it. But like the fact that like some movies have fucking 2 years after a solo film comes out to make the sequel, like 2 years in between, And the sequel just is nowhere near as good. If not, it just is awful, like compared to what we got a few years prior. I'm
Yeah.
looking at you, Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, COVID was the real, downfall of that time.
Yeah, but I mean, the movie was done filming though. Like it was done with it was in post production. They just shelved it for a whole year before they started like doing anything with that. And then they spoiled the whole fucking thing before it even came out. So, I mean, I went back and looked at some of the marketing for this movie. It doesn't spoil anything. It just has it does a good job. It posts very minimal. Now the movie isn't as hyped as, the Halloween movies are because this isn't a necessarily established franchise, I mean, it's established, but it's not embedded into horror
it's not
minds.
like a 40-year,
Which I do think that these movies are going to be remembered for a long time, and some horror fans agree with me. Some horror fans call me fucking crazy. They're like, "This movie sucks, and it's not going to be remembered after next year." I'm like, okay, we'll see.
The way because with X, I remember seeing people excited for it, obviously, but for Pearl, because we had already seen X, I feel like I saw a lot for Pearl. I kept seeing people talk about Pearl. I'm still seeing people talk about it. I'm seeing a lot of TikToks now of X. I keep seeing a lot of X edits, and I'm seeing some stuff for Pearl too. And I feel like it's because it Mia Goth, because she's I don't know, kind of one of those big people now within the industry, and she's just, will you be careful? Thorn just whacked my phone with his tail. But Mia Goth is becoming sort of this hot topic, really. And so I think these movies will continue on because I think this is just going to open up more doors for Mia Goth. Everything that I've seen her in so far, she's been great. If Marrowbone, I've never seen anyone talk about that movie ever. And it has Mia Goth, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Heaton, Jonathan from Stranger Things, and then I didn't recognize the fourth guy. But I've never seen anyone talk about this movie. I recommend it. It's sad as fuck, though. But she's great in that, too. She's great in Suspiria 2018, and so I think she's just going to keep getting more movie roles. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they're all going to be, everything I've seen her in, it's interesting and it's kind of different. She's in a couple more that I need to see. But they're all kind of they have this vibe to it. It's not just a normal, straightforward sort of movie. They all have something weird about them. So I'm excited to see other stuff she's in because you just know she's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see really what everybody in this movie does next, especially Mia Goth. I mean, and Ty West, obviously, he's got Maxine up and coming, but I'm ready to see more from him. I'm not gonna lie. Now that he's kind of really been able, A24 has given this man an ability to really kind of spread his wings and be I have stuff I want to say. This is what I want to do. Now that you've got a production like that behind you, give this man, honestly, maybe give this man the next Friday the 13th movie and see what he can do. I think that he can do something very special with it. I'm not going to lie, but we're going to see what happens. I'm excited to see where this talent goes.
Agreed, because I'm a fan of Ty West. Everything that I've seen of his, it's been great. Even The Innkeepers, which is probably my least favorite of his movies, but it's still a good movie. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Mm-hmm. It was still a good movie. But House of the Devil, that movie is so good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, X and Pearl. So everything that I've seen of his so far, it's been pretty good. Either good or it's been great. So I'm excited to see other stuff he does. I think it would be cool to see him do just a straight up sort of slasher, Because X is a slasher, but it also has a lot to say. But I want to see him do something, which I'm sure Maxine might be more campy. I think it would be cool to see a campier sort of movie because I feel Pearl is pretty serious. X is a good in between, and I would like to see a full on camp sort of, I don't know, over the top, colorful. I don't know. I would like to see him do a movie like that, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely would too. I think that'd be freaking awesome, and just I'm excited to see what he does next. So I'm going to continue to watch his movies because he is a very talented filmmaker. So,
Yes.
Goodreal says the $1 million question: X or Pearl?
I say X.
I say X too.
But that's because I love the whole 70s vibe. I love the slasher aspect. I love the characters so much. All of the characters I think are great. And I just like the vibe of the movie more, I guess. And I like the music choices for it. It's just more of like what I like when it comes to just horror movies in general. I love slasher movies.
Yeah.
And it's more of a slasher. So
yeah,
I love X.
I agree.
Pearl.
Yeah. I like X because I feel like that, I mean, like this movie, it had some lighthearted moments at times, but I like the different vibes that X brings. Like X is intense in some moments. It's got some moments like where like people are just kind of like sitting down and they're joking around. And I like the characters. I do really enjoy all the, young cast that's in it. They all bring a likable presence to the movie. Like here, I mean, like, and I understand that the film was doing it completely, but I like even at night, like I was like the nighttime sequences, like I was just like I felt like her mom was like gonna yell at her even in the middle of the night, like
Oh god,
and again, rightfully so, right? Like that's exactly what the vibe was supposed to be. Like you were supposed to be feeling like that, but I was like, you know what? Like, I just like that X brings a little bit more of like, the younger presence and everything that just kind of like they're all there together. It's got a good story behind it. And yeah, I'm a big fan of X. So, yeah. Woo! Talked about another movie. I successfully made it through this episode without making Destiny actually pull her hair out, people. So that's all that really matters. So you were really close. You were really close. I did see that. So literally, I struggled, and she couldn't even help me with where I was at. She was like,
No.
She was like, I don't fucking know. Like, what?
Literally. So where was I?
She was like, literally, and she knew where I was.
I did
know. I know that she did, but she was like, "Fuck off, Braden."
There's a part where you were off here, and what did I say? I said something. Oh, one of the comments is ding. I said, yeah, ding, ding, ding. It won't stop, or something like that. I said, it won't fucking stop, and I said, sorry, that's kind of mean. I was like, actually, I don't care. No,
I heard you. I could hear everything that you were saying. No, but what do you call it? I did figure it out. It's because I just had to sign out of. So I signed out of my messages. I guess I also had to sign out of my FaceTime thing that I had connected through here because I haven't gotten anything since then, and I've been getting messages, so that's good. We figured it out. It just took 3 weeks then to be on the air. So I do apologize to our audience and to our listeners. I do apologize if you heard those annoying dings wherever, if you're in your car right now, whatever. I'm sorry. I did not mean for that to happen. Destiny, I apologize to you sincerely for annoying the crap out of you with that last 3 weeks.
it's fine.
It's not really fine. That was the most unthankful freaking whatever. Okay. Anyway, what do you got coming up this week, Destiny? What's going on? What do you have up and coming?
Nothing this week.
Absolutely nothing. Okay.
Nope.
Cool.
Trying to do makeup.
With me, got Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 review, or Halloween, not Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween review coming tomorrow. So that will be out sometime tomorrow. And then I'm pretty sure I'm done for the week. Not doing any more breakdowns for Halloween Ends, people, because they're just spoiling way too much now. So I'm refusing to do anything on that. We'll talk about that the week that it comes out. Destiny and I will have our bonus episode where we will do a full-on spoiler review, which I'm very much looking forward to. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got coming up this week. So you guys can look forward to that tomorrow. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being a great chat here tonight. As always, saw a lot of good conversation going on in the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in live to Fear Freaks. Hope that you guys have a great weekend. Again, guys, we're on the final countdown here. 10,000 subscribers. 30. I think last I checked, we're like 38 away. So make sure if you guys are new here, you guys consider clicking that subscribe button and joining this channel on its journey to 10,000 subscribers. And we will see you guys next week on Fear Freaks. Have a great rest of your week. Talk to you guys later.